Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Today I'm doing a video I've been looking forward to doing for a while now. A lot of research into this one as well and some difficult decisions for me to make. But essentially it's my League of Ireland 11, League of Ireland Foreign 11. This does not count players in the British Isles. So Northern Ireland, obviously England, Scotland and Wales do not count in this list. Another thing that doesn't count in the list is players that are actually say born and raised in Ireland but went on to represent other countries. So literally they're players that have come into the League of Ireland. Let's get straight into this. Surprise, surprise, we'll start off with a goalkeeper. The number one in this list for me is Chris O'Connor. Chris was an Australian under 20 and under 23 international, picking up 9 caps between both grades. The stopper signed for Bray Wanderers as an 18-year-old in 2003, coming from Australia. He would go on to represent the Seagulls until 2009. The Aussie made 147 league appearances for the club in that time and managed to score a goal. So any goalkeeper that scores a goal is an achievement. He was goalkeeper of the year in 2004, helping Bray promote back to the Premier Division. He kept 15 clean sheets, which was a new club record at the time. Chris then moved to Bohemians for the 2010 season, where he battled Barry Murphy for the number one spot. He made 27 appearances for the Gypsies before going back to Australia and joining Gold Coast in the land of Oz. So, goalkeeper, Chris O'Connor. Now, number 2, I went for Pascal Vaudequin from France. Now, obviously, that's the Irish way of pronouncing it. I'm not even going to go there, guys. Pascal was a Parisian who ended up in Derry in 1987. Ended up in Derry sounds very dodgy, doesn't it? The Frenchman would go on to make 241 appearances for the Candy Stripes from 1987 to 1991. He was part of the greatest season in the history of Derry City, where they would land the domestic treble in 1989. No club has done this since or before, by the way. He was amusingly nicknamed by locals as Paddy Quinn, something I probably should have started calling him in this list, as I found great difficulty pronouncing his name. Pascal left Derry as he returned to France for a few seasons, but he clearly missed the city and the club, and he returned in 2003, staying another 3 seasons. Pascal would go on to play for another 4 League of Ireland clubs, including Shelbourne, where he won the FAI Cup in 97, Finn Harps Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers. However, he'll be fondly remembered by Derry City, where he won 7 major trophies at the Brandywell. So right back, Pascal Vaudequin. Now on to left back, and I went for Avery John. The Trinidad and Tobago man joined Bohemians in 1999. From 96 to 2009, he earned 65 caps for his country, Trinidad and Tobago, obviously. The left back would play in the 2006 World Cup. Little fact about him in that World Cup, he was sent off in a game against Sweden, which forced him to miss a high-profile game versus England, so unfortunate for him. He was a cult hero at Bohemians, making 21 league appearances in the 99-2000 season before moving on to Boston Bulldogs in the United States. He, however, returned to the League of Ireland to join Shelbourne, where he only made 10 league appearances. Avery returned to the Gypsies soon after, making 19 league appearances and grabbing his first career goals. This stint in the League of Ireland was at Longford Town. His last stint in the League of Ireland was at Longford Town, before he moved back to the States. But Avery John was a very, very good left back. He mainly, to be honest, the time he had in the first spell at Bohemians was the main spell, but interesting that he moved away to America and came back for more, so to speak. So Avery John was my left back. Now, centre back, my first choice, so to speak, was Wesley Charles. Big Wes played for 5 League of Ireland clubs and was best known for his time at Bray Wanderers. He managed to get 100 caps for his country, St. Vincent, who were in the Caribbean, scoring 4 goals. Charles began life in Ireland with Sligo Rovers in 1998, where he spent 2 seasons, making over 60 league appearances for the club. Charles spent 4 seasons at the seaside club Bray, making 128 league appearances for the Seagulls. He was voted Club Player of the Year in 2003. A brief spell in Russia, of all places, ended prematurely, and he was back at the Carlisle grounds in 2006. However, this spell was less productive, and after 11 appearances, he left to go back west, this time to Galway United. Wesley was made club captain in 2007 and had two seasons at the club where he made 52 League of Ireland appearances for the Terryland outfit. In 2011, he had a brief spell at Salthill Devon, which is not far from Galway City itself. Yeah, Wesley Charles, a player that very tough defender, agile, strong, good in the air, decent on the ball as well. He had a lot going in his game, fantastic in that first spell at Bray, and for me personally, I couldn't leave him out. Now, Wesley's partner is Nicholas Vemelund. Now, it might be a little bit controversial, this one. Nicholas wasn't in the league very long. However, he was excellent whilst he was here in 2016. He joined Derry City, where he went on to make 32 league appearances, score once for the Brandywell club. Vemelund, who was also capped at under 19 level for his native Denmark, then moved to League of Ireland champions Dundalk. In his first season with Dundalk, he won the League Cup, but missed out in the league title and FAI Cup on penalties to Cork. He did score in that final. Nicholas moved home to Denmark at the end of the season. Interesting that he said that the League of Ireland needed to do more to keep more of their players. He cited facilities being a major factor in him moving away. But Nicholas was a good defender, I felt, and although he was only here briefly, I've included him in this list. Now that's the back four into midfield, and I've gone for Bastien Héry. Bastien came into the League of Ireland after an up and down spell in England. The Parisian was looking for a new challenge. When the opportunity arose to join Limerick in 2007, he jumped at it. During his spell at the Munster club, Héry showed flashes of what he could do as a central midfielder. Unfortunately, due to financial reasons, the Frenchman left. But he did join up with another Munster club, and this time was Waterford FC in time for the 2018 season. This is where the flamboyant midfielder really showed his stuff for me. He went on to become Senior Player of the Year, was named the PFAI Team of the Year, and his goal against St Patrick's Athletic was voted Goal of the Season. Bastien was a cult hero in Waterford. Sadly for him and the league, he had to leave due to financial circumstances once more, and he now plays football up north with Linfield. But Bastien was one of those players. I know he's a likeable character, but on the field, just flamboyancy, to be honest with you. Obviously good on the ball, could spray a pass. This league seemed to suit him well, and well known for some great goals as well. Waterford fans will also remember him from an incident with John Caulfield in a Munster derby against Cork City, where it all got a bit tense and he pushed Caulfield, who came onto the pitch. All very comical stuff. But Bastien, for me, definitely gets into my central midfield. Now, the other central midfielder I've gone for is Joseph Nadeau, and nearly every list like this, Joseph Nadeau is in the list. Unbelievable player, Joseph. I'm not sure if this league has ever produced a better player, if I'm completely honest. He's 21 caps for Cameroon, and Cameroon isn't one of your smaller African countries either. Cameroon are a major football nation in Africa, so that says it all in itself. He first arrived to these shores in 2003 when Pat Dolan brought him to St Patrick's Athletic. Joseph went on to play for all four of the big Dublin clubs, making more appearances for Shelbourne, where he won 2 league titles with the Drumcondra club in 2004 and 2006. He was named Player of the Year in 2009, and then he won another league title with Bohemians that year. He'd mostly remembered, I think he's mostly remembered for me for his time with Sligo Rovers, to be honest though. Spending 2010 to 2014 with the bit of red. The elegant midfield maestro won a league title, 3 FAI Cups, 1 League Cup and a Setanta Cup for the bit of red. Joey's probably the best player in the league in the last 30 years for me. He had everything, say, that Bastien Héry had, but more physical as well, could defend. He could do anything you could name in midfield. If you were to name your four best midfielders aside from Joseph Nadeau, um, let's say in the League of Ireland history, there's a good chance all those roll into Joseph Nadeau. For me, just I don't know, he's just an unbelievable player, and I still maintain he was too good for this league. But Nadeau gets in. Now on the wing, well, I'm cheating a little bit here because you could go left or right wing, but we'll go for left wing, right? I'm going for Ramald Boko. Now, Boko went on to represent Benin 50 times as part of their squad in the African Nations Cup in 2004. Paul Cook, who was previously the manager of Accrington Stanley, actually brought Boko to the showgrounds in 2008, where he spent 2 seasons at the club, winning an FAI Cup and a League Cup. He dazzled fans with creativity and skill, and was part of a strong Sligo side. Boga did have 3 spells at the showgrounds after having a short spell at Burton Albion before returning to the Bit of Red in 2010-11. He was a big part in helping them win the FAI Cup that year, I have to say. He left for Asia, but Paul Cook signed him for the third time in 2011-2012, where he would make 22 appearances for the club, scoring 2 goals. Now, with Boga, the strange thing is Boga played up front a lot of the time, but he could play in behind, the left and right as well. But I just had to get him in this team. Very good players, as I said, very creative. Part of that Sligo, I suppose, kind of a dynasty from their point of view in those years, 2010 to 2014 generally, and I just had to get Boga in. Now, the other winger I've gone for might be a little controversial, but I think he's a bit underrated. Ryan Guy. The California-born winger Guy is a Guam international, would you believe? The former St. Patrick's Athletic winger has 28 caps and 4 goals for the Pacific Island nation. He spent 2007 to 2010 at St. Patrick's Athletic, where he played 114 league games, scoring 24 goals. Unfortunately for the diminutive Guy, pun intended, he was part of an unsuccessful Saints side. But Ryan was slightly underrated during this time. I really think he was. He was elusive and could pop up with important goals. He did earn Player of the Year award also in 2009 with the Super Saints. Ryan moved back to the US in 2011, but left his mark in the League of Ireland for me. I think if he was part of a more successful St. Patrick's Athletic side, he would have got more credit. But he was very consistent in the time he was in the League of Ireland with Pats. Again, a player that could play in a number of positions. He could play behind a striker, he could play left, he could play right wing. He popped up in a lot of different positions, hard to pin him down. But I've put him out in the right wing because I can, basically. Because they can interchange these players, basically. You know, that's the reason why I went for that. So Guy is in. Now here's a forward, so to speak, is Charles Mbabzi Livingston. I wouldn't quite call him a striker, but we're calling him a forward. He could play up front, no doubt, but he could play behind the striker, left wing, right wing as well. He had that versatility. I just had to get him in. Baba played 36 times, scoring 7 goals for his native Uganda from 1998 to 2003. Again, he was an elusive player, could play in any forward position. He joined St. Patrick's League in 1999. Charles lit up the league and was a huge fan favourite. Very creative and a score of important goals. I think that's a notable thing with him. He was a score of important goals. He scored against HNK of Croatia in 2002. This was the first ever win in European competition for St. Patrick's Athletic. The disappointing thing, I think, for Charles was that he was forced to retire in 2003 due to a heart problem after having heavily collapsed in a league game against Bohemians. It was a real shame and a sad way for his career to end at the age of 23. By the way, he was 23 years of age when his career ended. It's hard to know what would have happened. I thought he had the ability to move on as well, but he was a real player. He was a player that played a smile on his face as well, Livingston, and I think often it's forgotten, if I'm honest with you, when we talk about other players. So I think his inclusion is fair enough. I've gone for Eric Levine. Eric Levine is my main man up front, so to speak. The Barbados-born striker Levine had a great League of Ireland career. He capped 4 times for his country, scoring 10 goals. He moved over to Ireland in 1997, where he initially spent 4 seasons at Galway United. He won the League Cup with Galway. He was the first ever player to score 4 goals in the top division in Ireland, which was, you can't take that away from him, can you? He went on to play 113 league games for the Tribesmen, scoring 27 goals. In 2001, he joined Midlanders Longford Town, where he amassed 117 appearances, scoring 29 goals, but would go on to land the FAI Cup twice and League Cup in a successful era for Longford. Levein then rejoined Galway in 2005-2006 before finishing his career at Athlone Town. Levein was just a good player. You might notice that his goal record mightn't have been absolutely out of this world, but he was a very, very good player. He was a good striker, could link up with others as well. And, one of the foreigners for me, as I said, he arrived in Ireland in 97. I'm this team is since 95, more or less, remember as well. So he was kind of almost like one of the first foreigners that I would have looked at and, I don't know, latched onto, I suppose. So there's a memory, there's maybe a nostalgia side to that as well. But he was a very good player, very successful at Longford Town, part of that era where Longford were successful as well and was important to that too. So for me, Levein gets in. Now, guys, that's about it. What did you think of the list yourself? No doubt people will have suggestions for other players. There were many players I thought of as well, and I really went into depth into this. I pretty much looked at every foreign player since 1995. So what's your opinion, guys? What do you think of the team? What kind of team, I suppose, would you pick yourself personally? Who would you go for? What formation would you go for? Even name your team in the comments if you want, but certainly throw down a few names as well. I'll comment on them as well, no doubt about it. But enjoyed this one, guys. Like, subscribe, and look, I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.